I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. ZepLander joins us. Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
how's it going?
That's going good today. Let folks know who you are, please.
Alrighty, so, the short of it is, I'm ZepLander, Zep for short. I'm just, some chill dude out here on the internet playing games, guitar, cooking up a storm, and, sometimes appearing at interviews, I guess. I could add that on now.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and it's always great to talk with the interesting folks that are behind the VTuber industry. And how long have you been a VTuber?
Let's see here. I'm going to say maybe about 2.5 years now. And I say maybe because, I did a stream on Twitch in 2020.
Yeah.
Just as kind of like why not? Let me give it a go, see how it is.
Test.
And then 2021 rolled around. I was like, okay, I'm having some fun. And it was sometime in 2022 when I started doing it semi-regularly. I was like, okay, let me at least draw a little stick person so something's bouncing around on screen.
Yeah, glad you didn't have me do that, because it would really look really horrible bouncing around screen, because I have no idea, no clue at art whatsoever.
That's why I drew just a stick person.
Yeah, that's right. That's not even going to work for me. But
yeah,
once you did get started and get rolling with what you've got going now, how easy was it for you to kind of assume that and start making it a regular habit for you?
Well, the regular habit part, that just happened. The hardest thing was trying to stream regularly, just figuring out, okay, instead of me just doing a stream whenever I feel like it, maybe I try to stick to some regularity, maybe I'll stream a couple times a week, or, say, hey, I'm going to start putting out a schedule, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I need some water there real quick.
No worries.
And it just took a while. It took a few months, and the VTuber part, that came ridiculously easy because I just decided to make my model based on me, my actual self.
Yeah.
Literally, the only difference is I have a beard and mustache. That's the only difference.
You're one of us.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. The unbearded and unmustached do not know the power that we have. To know whatever it is we had for breakfast this morning all day long.
Yeah, just saving as a snack for later.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. Well, those eggs were really nice.
Yeah.
Really, you knew about the VTubing thing early on, and you eventually decided you were going to try to do it. Was there anybody that was kind of your influence in doing that?
Well, influence-wise, it's kind of a tricky thing. So it started with starting with streaming, I guess. It started with a buddy of mine that they also eventually got a little model going.
Mm-hmm.
They were just like, hey, you should stream, because I posted one thing a good while ago about kicking butt at Tetris 99.
Yeah.
And they were just like, hey, you should really stream that stuff. You're crazy good at it. So I was like, okay, sure. And it was... Then eventually it was like, oh, hey, they're VTubing. And slowly I started discovering more VTubers. It's like, oh, okay, there's these other folks. It's not just it's not just HoloLive and VShojo that have VTubers.
Right.
Literally anybody can do this.
Yep. Yeah.
And just started watching more. It was just like, you know what? What if I just poke around in Droid Studio for a little while?
Yeah. And then the rest is history.
Exactly. And here I am, 2024. 2.5 years of being a VTuber.
Yeah, yeah. Did you imagine when you got started you'd still be doing it at this point?
Really, I never imagined I'd actually be streaming on at all. I just thought okay, yeah, I'll just do whatever and stuff on the side and all that. And of course, here I am, 2.5 years later. I'm like, man, I'm still doing this.
But
wow, people are tuning in to watch me.
Yeah,
weird.
Is that what hooked you? Is having people coming in to because you were there? They're coming in for you. Is that what hooked you and brought you back?
Part of it was that. It was just I get to meet people, get to, you know, actually socialize with folks instead of just being like me in some small town, middle of wherever in the US, just
Mm.
like, okay, yeah, there's not a whole lot going on. I guess I'm just sitting at my computer today, whatever.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, I'm actually talking to people and engaging with people.
and entertaining people.
Yeah, and building a community off of that and
Yeah,
actually getting to know people.
yeah. So you mentioned that you play guitar.
Yep.
Have you been up on stage before in front of people?
So I have when I was a younger kid. It was middle school
Mm.
was when I first learned to play guitar, first picked it up.
Yeah.
And as part of the just like I don't remember exactly why, just as part of something the middle school was doing, they had us perform in a theater.
Hmm.
We just play different songs really.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy about it, but let's see, twice I was on stage. Third time, that third year it was just in the high school auditorium for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We weren't on theater. But
Ever.
then again, it was also the last year the middle school was open, so
Yeah. Well, that you go. What type of variety show type thing?
kind of, sort of. I mean, it was just like a lot of us had. I'm trying to remember really because it's been a while. I mean, a lot of us played guitar, so we all just had acoustic guitars, just playing along to different songs in the songbook. Funny enough, classic rock songs, which I mean, I have been listening to all my life basically. It's the music I grew up on listening
All
to my
right.
dad's music collection.
All right. Now we're going to have a face off here about classic rock. Some people say
All
classic
right,
rock is one thing. Some people say it's another. Give me two artists you would consider classic rock.
Van Halen and Boston.
You win.
Perfect.
Yes.
And I didn't even name the band I'm wearing a T-shirt of right now. Rush.
Oh, there you go. There you go. People when I hear people talking about groups in the '90s being classic rock, it just makes me want to throw things. I know
I mean,
I know I'm old, but I don't care. That's not yeah yeah. The Friends
it's
song
such a
isn't
weird
classic rock.
label.
The Friends theme song isn't classic rock. Sorry, don't do that.
I wouldn't even really consider it rock to begin with.
There's a lot of things I consider it, but it wouldn't be something to listen to
Yeah.
over these years. Um,
Or
so
say I've got that brain worm in me where every time it goes, so you know you want to,
yeah.
or so you didn't think life would turn out this way. I'm blanking out on it right now,
Oh
and
yeah.
they just do that clap every time. I just always clap along to it.
Yeah, yeah. Even if you're hearing it in the background of a restaurant somewhere else, just kind of
Exactly.
scaring everybody around you. the
Instinct kicks in, and I just start clapping to it.
So have you done guitar on stream?
I have actually. There's been a good few streams. It's been a little while where I actually just mostly it's just me noodling around or
Mhm.
futzing around, whatever,
Yeah.
on it. But I mean, there was a last month after Twitch introduced new rules. I was just kind of like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should actually get around to making my own music,
Yeah.
and then I have something of my own to play on stream
Yeah.
when I'm getting ready and all that.
Yeah. So how many have you done? How many of your own songs have you got going?
One,
Mm.
and that was just I picked up my acoustic, fiddled around on it. Eventually, was like, okay, let me just record this real quick. Boom, got something, and that's the progress I've made. It was just a one take, me on my nylon string, get that going. It's a nice, peaceful one, though. I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, people like me who have absolutely no ability to play an instrument whatsoever. I mean, when I was in band in 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 grade school, I had a tenor sax, and the tenor sax in band
Ooh.
in grade school played the whole note. That's
Oh,
yeah, the whole note. That's what we played. Practice didn't
yikes!
practice didn't take long. As long as you could hold a B flat, you're okay.
Yeah, then you're set. But
Yeah,
also, dang, that was
yeah.
they were not really doing good to get people encouraged to play more music.
No, and that thing was heavy too. I mean, it was
Oh, I could
heavy.
imagine.
But anyway, the getting back to people who actually have talent, such as yourself, um, putting together a song in any form has got to be an underrated talent. Because people can come up with things in their head all the time. Man, you bog down. Oh, that's a pretty good beat. Oh, and you think of a whole song, but being able to actually translate that into something anybody else can hear is a completely different thing. You find you got the ability to do that pretty easily?
Definitely not easily. I will just be flat out honest. Not easily in the slightest. I say that because there's plenty of times I've grabbed a guitar, grabbed a bass, plucked around on it, gotten something I like, and then I'm just like, okay, I've got this.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I go from here? Or there'll be so many times it's like I'm laying in bed, I suddenly start getting something in my head. I'm like, okay, I like this. I wish I didn't have work in the morning so I could just get out of bed and just start messing around on this. But the next day comes around, it's like, crap, what was I thinking? What was I doing?
It was so good in my head then,
Yeah.
and it's gone now. And then, has there been a time when you thought you've had something really good hook, and you realize it's a really good hook because you've heard it in another song?
Usually it's like I'll just start playing around like, I like this. Wait, this sounds familiar. Hang on a minute. Play it out a bit more. Oh yeah. No, this is definitely something.
Yeah, but it was a good hook though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many times I've just been like, wait a minute. Start playing it. Wait, that's Blue Oyster Cult. I'm just playing right now.
Now there you go. There's some classic rock for you, Blue Oyster Cult. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the one that when I was a kid in the '70s, one of the big things. Oh, this is really dating. I don't care. But, people used to try to move out of their parents' house by getting a camper and staying on the property. They would basically
Huh.
live away from their house in a camper. And if you went in, it was usually the older brother of somebody you knew. And when you went in there, they'd always have Blue Oyster Cult playing.
Ah, yeah.
That was that's one of the first bands that comes to mind is Blue Oyster Cult. Um, and that's a band that's underrated, by the way.
Agreed.
The playing online in front of people. How is that different than playing on stage in front of people?
See, that's a tricky thing because, I mean, when I brought up middle school, let's see, that was the first time I was on stage. That was actually about 20 years ago. Oh, crap.
Oh, we all getting old.
But, yeah, no kidding. But, I mean, when I was on stage, I didn't really look at the audience all that much. Part of it was just because, I mean, hey, we were all just, little middle school kids doing whatever. We kind of still had to look at the songbook in front of us to know what we were doing anyway.
Right.
So we weren't really focused on the audience. We were kind of just more focused on keeping the beat together,
Right.
not getting like too far out from everybody else.
Right.
But
So,
then, I mean, so yeah, that might just be like a really bad example in a way, just because it's not like I
Yeah.
was
it's kind of apples and oranges.
standing at the front of
Yeah.
the stage
Yeah, it's a little bit
in front of everybody looking. It was just more like, yeah, I'm kind of here doing my own sort of thing.
Yeah, but
And then online, it's like, well, I at least know music theory now,
yeah,
and I can actually put something together that sounds good. And I just see chat scrolling by saying, hey, that's good. Or they'll post I've got one emote on my server and on my stream that's just me playing guitar,
yeah.
and so they'll post that as well.
Well, no, it's nice to have an appreciative audience anyway.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but
makes me feel confident about it.
yeah, but would it be different for you? You think if there were sitting in the room watching you?
I, yes and no, just because, like, I'll say yes since there's actually, somebody there that would be live and I would actually see their face reacting to all that. But at the same time, I'm going to say no because, like, most of the time it's just like, since I've actually done that before in front of a few friends, they'll just be, watching me play, and I end up just getting more focused on like what I'm playing than the audience.
Yeah, that's a way to
Just
do it.
because I'm like, okay, let me, play this right as I go again, that sort of thing.
Mm. So I'd imagine that's absolutely true, and good on you because I would never be able to do it in front of an audience.
Oh,
Never. I talk to thousands of people on radio at once, but I don't like getting in front of 10 people and talking. It's the skin starts crawling and then my legs start moving out. Try to get away from it. I'm over that a little bit
oh.
after all these years, but still. Um, with that and with you're wanting to create your own type of music, are we going to see um, more in this next year coming out from you as far as uh, finished type of music? Do you think?
See, that's what I want to do.
Mm.
Granted, I've been saying and telling myself basically since I picked up guitar again back in 2016, I was like, okay, I want to actually, write my own music, get stuff recorded, and have an album
Yep.
to put out there.
Yeah.
But I've been telling myself that, for the past 8 years. So
you're just trying to come up with the right thing. You're a perfectionist. That's all.
exactly.
Yeah. Just
Like, I don't necessarily want to be like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to be the next Tom Scholz, where I'm, a studio wizard, really being a perfectionist, taking my time with that,
yeah.
and cranking out the next best Boston album.
Yes.
But sometimes it's kind of how I feel like with whenever I just sit in my studio. I'm like, okay, what am I doing? What the hell am I doing? Let me just get stuff written down, that sort of thing.
It's people these days don't realize that albums back then used to sometimes only have 7 to 9 songs on them.
Yeah, you'd only have like 20 minutes aside,
Yeah.
if that, to put stuff down on. So you had to be careful about it.
Yeah, and I know that. Well, the Rush song, with songs like Rush would put on 15-minute songs, so that would be part of it. But like Steely Dan's, I think it's Asia, only has 7. I think very few songs on it. Now it's good stuff as far as I'm concerned, because I'm a big Steely Dan fan. But
Oh, heck yeah.
but today, if you bought a CD that had 7 songs on it, you're like, what?
Either those 7 songs are just like, something they recorded back when it was on vinyl and they didn't add any bonus things, or maybe they're all like 10, 15-minute pieces.
Yeah, you better hope, because you got a lot of place there. You can put a couple of video games on it by the time you're done.
Shoot, yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding.
but it was so different then, and I talk about when the first CDs first came out, people listened to them and were like, "What is going on here?" Because all of the tapes were analog, and the first CDs that came out, you heard every edit,
Mm-hmm.
and people said, "Why are you doing it?" Well, because it was tape. We had to literally cut it with razor blades and put it together with adhesive tape. That's how we edited back then. And
And
people,
CDs just really drew out the limitations of that too.
oh yeah, even the early Beatles stuff, because there wasn't anything they didn't do that they didn't edit, especially the late albums. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of tough to hear because you click 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 through the whole thing. Anyway, I'm running way away from your channel because I want to get talking about that, because I want to know what are you doing on your channel besides the music?
So, I mean, like I said before, play games and cook up a storm. I mean, video game wise, I'll say like Mondays I tend to play Genshin just because towards the end of last year I started to get into it. I saw there was a sponsorship for it, and I was like, you know what? I've been seeing Genshin for a while. I'm kind of curious about it, and I've just been playing it ever since.
You got gotcha.
And I mean, so many other games. Like, I usually have my Switch hooked up to a capture card, so playing whatever I've got on there, usually whatever's come out recently,
Hmm.
or like, we'll go back to, say, was it May,
Hmm.
when I was doing either March or May, I'm blanking on it right now.
One
I
of
was
the
doing
M month.
Mario and Mega Man May,
Oh,
where I just played different Mario or Mega Man games
yeah.
throughout the month.
Well, I mean, you have plenty of them to choose from, so
Oh, yeah.
you can definitely fill a month with the M games as far as those go. Um,
Easily.
yeah. Is there something that you really want to do on your stream that you haven't done yet, as far as a different type of streaming?
I mean, I that's the hard thing, because one thing I really wanted to start doing and last year was a cooking stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've been doing those since. Heck, after this interview, I'm going to be doing one where I'm cooking up some ramen.
Mm.
But I mean, like cooking streams, what else would I do really? Music was another one, and I actually started doing those where I've just actually that was some of the streams last month on some Thursdays.
Well,
I actually just sat down and tried to write some music.
yeah, yeah. Those can be really interesting for folks who don't know how that comes together, though. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, if you show them how the tracks work and how equalization works and all that sort of thing, um, people who haven't spun dials don't know what goes into that and what they actually do. Uh, if you have the right perfect setup, even the worst microphone's going to sound a heck of a lot better. uh,
Oh yeah.
a little bit of noise blanking or a little bit of padding on the walls, and you're almost to studio quality. It'll
Exactly.
it's
Doesn't
a
always take $10,000 worth of gear
no. Sometimes you just hang a
to make
blanket
something
and
great.
you
Hmm.
get something up there. Kind of peeling back the scenes a little bit. Both the cooking too. Um, do you do that with the cooking as well? Show them exactly how you're doing things, kind of a start to finish, or is it in progress when you join it?
It's a start to finish thing. Like I'll start up the stream, I'll have the camera pointing right at my stove,
Hmm.
and I will just I mean sometimes I'll cut ingredients over there if I can, manage the space for it. Otherwise it's just I've done it off to the side.
Hmm.
Maybe sometimes I'll sort some things out like say I need to have like 2 cups of flour off to the side, a cup of sugar, some measurements. Maybe I'll do that beforehand, but usually it's just like hey, here it is at the stove. Let me just chop away, add stuff, say what I'm adding,
Mm.
and go from there.
See, now it's another way that I'm jealous of you is not just because you know how to play the guitar and do it well, but that you actually can do dishes that involve measurements. For a guy
See,
like
here's the tricky thing. It may, involve measurements, but I'll get a rough thing going and then just be like, okay, maybe I add a little more of this or that just
well,
because that's just how my taste buds are. Like I want a bit more garlic than most other people would, or
oh yeah,
maybe I'm like, I could use a bit more salt,
yeah.
that
There's
sort of thing.
seasonings make so much difference, and I didn't realize that until I got married. I think it's been when my wife Misty come up with the chicken breast and we'd have a bunch of that in the freezer. Why'd you buy it so much? Well, you just wait, and all week long we'd have something different
Oh,
from the
there you
same
go.
stuff. It all came down to what you put on it, whether it was the soul seasoning or whether it was just regular rubs or anything along those lines, and it was delicious. It was,
Hmm.
and just adding that little bit makes such a big difference. Doing it right. Um,
It's crazy what all a little bit does. A little
yeah.
goes a long way.
Yeah, I have no. I mean, 43 years as a bachelor, I had, and the only thing I knew that I had two dishes that people wouldn't normally have. One of which was manwich spaghetti, which basically you make up a bunch of manwich and use that as your spaghetti sauce,
Yep.
which actually is pretty good. I mean, for that. And the other one is um, spaghetti because I make lots of spaghetti with chicken nuggets,
Ooh.
and it's a poor man's chicken parmesan.
There you go. Hey, what's a chicken parmesan but just a gigantic chicken nugget?
Yeah, yeah, just chicken nugget, just put parmesan on it, and there you go. Throw it in the sauce, and you've got it all set.
Exactly.
And that would be the absolute limit. Besides frozen pizzas, what I'd be able to do. When did you get? When did you start really wanting to do type of cooking type stuff like you're doing?
Like not just cooking streams, but cooking in general sort of thing, or
Yeah, yeah, getting interested in it.
well, it started out when I was a teenager. My parents were like, "Hey, we need to teach you how to cook, so you don't spend like $20 on a meal every day."
Hmm.
And it was something I quickly learned. It's like, oh yeah, eating out is expensive.
Yes, it
Uh,
is. Very.
So
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Uh,
it adds up quick,
yeah.
especially when you're traveling.
Yeah, especially when you're traveling. Um, and what is your favorite thing to make?
That's always a hard one for me to answer because, like, one of my favorite foods out there, fried chicken.
Mm,
I shied away from it for so long just because I was like, okay, I've never really, fried anything in oil, breaded and all that.
right.
And then once I started doing that, I was like, oh, this is easy. It's just a bit of a mess to clean up, but it's easy to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And so there's that. That's one of my favorite things to make. There's, plenty of casseroles, or maybe just me going out to the grill and throwing something on there. Just,
Mm. Oh, there's some people who are doing that grill stuff that just drive me up a tree because how delicious it looks. If I put something on the
ooh,
grill, it will be on fire by the time it's done.
oh no.
Even if there's no fire in the grill, it would actually set itself on fire rather than have me do something with it. I just don't have a whole lot of coordination with that sort of thing. Um,
Oh,
it is
at least you're doing better than Homer Simpson, who, was shown putting cereal and milk together in a bowl and it just catches fire. If you've ever seen that one
I haven't
episode.
seen it, but I can relate to it for sure. But this type of stuff, I think cooking really lends itself to this format because, um, first of all, it's live input from chat and stuff, and maybe they'll throw in a something that you didn't think of,
Yeah.
and it is a very much a show as you go type of thing, and we get to learn from all sorts of different people how they do things, not just the folks who get paid a lot by the Food Network.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe it's just because I'm a smaller streamer. It's like there's more people. I can actually see what people are saying a lot easier than like someone who's got, I don't know, 200, 300 viewers
Mm,
and chat is just zooming by.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think I saw the
This I
word
can just,
oregano. Maybe I didn't see oregano.
yeah.
So what is your secret ingredient?
A lot of TLC. TLC being just me sweating over a hot stove.
Well, you said garlic. I think garlic will count as
Oh yeah, garlic too.
yeah.
Definitely add garlic to stuff.
Something I've learned late in life, besides that I actually kind of like rice a little bit, is onion powder.
Onion powder is amazing too.
Wow, yeah, I didn't think much about it before, but I started adding it to things like pasta dishes. Of course, I eat pasta all the time. Even pizzas. I'll just spread over the top of it, and there's just something to it that just adds a little extra to it. And I couldn't tell you
Hey,
what. It just tastes good.
I mean, hey, if you're even just frying up an egg, put a little bit of onion powder on top.
Yeah, I mean, give it a shot. You talk about you're gonna have ramen stuff coming up. Of course, my ramen is limited to putting it in the microwave, but but even that, there's stuff you can do with like basic ramen. I'll throw soul food seasoning in it,
Yeah.
and that's good stuff.
Oh yeah, it just adds its own kick to it, and
Mm.
it's a hell of a lot better than just a 33, or maybe it's 40 cents now. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. I don't buy instant ramen anymore.
Yeah,
Just cheap old pack of instant ramen.
yeah, yeah. It's there are times when the budget calls for it, but
Ain't that the truth?
you can I call it tarting it up because you're adding you're making it look better than it actually is. But there's a lot of things you can do with just simple meals to make it just that much better.
Oh yeah.
And being able to show people that is really does expand what they're able to do with their lives. Even if they're there, even if they basically just cook bagels in a toaster oven. There's things you could do for that. So
I mean, hey,
I'm all
pop
for
a
it.
bagel in toaster oven, scramble up some eggs, put
Mhm.
on top of that,
Yep,
cook up some bacon.
yep, yep. There's ways to do things at home that don't cost you an arm and a leg at the local fast food place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Plus, you make it a lot better than you can get at McDonald's.
yeah, and you can like instead of just ordering one, you can make like four of them and
Yeah, for the same price
for the
as
same
ordering
price,
one.
and eat them in private instead of in public.
Yeah,
Binge eat while you're watching your favorite VTuber. As
that
far
too.
as far as the games that you have on, what type of games do you like to stream?
So basically, like same as I would play otherwise. Like, I mean, granted, I grew up on Nintendo consoles, so Mario is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I the first stream I ever did back in 2020 before I really got into it, streaming, I just threw on Mario Party because I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? Even if it was just me against 3 CPUs, I just did that. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, it's been years since that, of course, but hey, I've met other people and they're like, hey, you want to play Mario Party? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's play Mario Party. And one thing I'm thinking of is with Super Mario Party Jamboree coming out soon, I'm going to try to. I say try to because I have the idea. It doesn't mean I'm going to actually act on it. Get a bunch of people together and just go crazy on Mario Party.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
all sorts of
absolutely.
Mario games, kart, platformers, golf even. Zelda games as well, Smash Bros. Although I haven't done that too much lately.
Yeah.
Really, just like anything I find that strikes me as, oh, I'm having fun with this.
Mm. Yeah.
That's why I tend to play
Yeah.
on stream.
And do you ever find yourself taking game off because it's not really hitting with the audience?
Funny you mentioned that. Yes,
Oh,
because it was a Steam sale earlier this summer. I picked up Final Fantasy for the After Years.
okay. I don't
Now, I
think
don't know
I.
how into Final Fantasy you are,
Yeah.
but basically, there was Final Fantasy 4 released back in 91, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
92 maybe. And the After Years is basically a sequel to that. But it's also not a good game.
I
So
see.
I did that for one stream. I was like, yeah, this is I don't think I'm gonna be playing this again. This is a game. It's one of the games of all time.
Yeah. It certainly is a game. And now we go to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tell you, I've heard all of the titles. That's not one I've heard of.
Yeah, it was not that good. I could see why not many people have heard of it.
But you give it a shot, and it just no. But now those are okay for if you go through one stream and hack your way through it, and but for gosh sakes, don't bring it back.
Yeah, I I wanted to give it a try, and I mean, even if I'm even like I don't want to bring this back, why should I bring it back for another one?
That's right. You still have to balance what you like and what the audience will go for. Are there games that you'll play offline that you don't think would go well online?
Hmm, that's a tricky one because I thought JRPGs would be like that, but oddly enough, I've actually been able to do a few and get a decent few people to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean they're story heavy, and it's usually just like okay, especially with something like I mean I'll bring up Genshin as an example since I've been doing a lot of the story in that where it's usually just I got to run around, let
Right.
a cutscene play. Every now and then I select an option for a dialogue, but
Yeah, but so many people
I
like
mean hey,
that game too.
yeah,
Yeah, and it is gotcha. So
ain't that the truth?
yeah. So
People spent so much money on that, and I'm just sitting here like I'm still playing it for free.
it's gonna take me a little longer than you. That's all.
Exactly.
I'm not buying it, even though it's only $5 this week. I'm not going to buy it.
$5 would get me so much more, but that's $5 I could spend on something else.
Yes, yes. Onion powder. I'll use it on onion powder. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
something better than that. But it sounds like me. You've got a really good setup going. I mean, you may have kind of fallen into it, and but it's seems like you're awful comfortable with it.
I mean, yeah, it took me some time to build up to it. I was just like, okay, what do I want to do? And just slowly figured that out along the way.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, what can I add to this?
Hmm.
Slowly add on to that, figure it out as I go, and now I'm just like, yeah, this is good. I've figured out my setup for, I mean, cooking streams, for example. I've got that
Yeah.
figured out for playing games. I've, got one screen for the game, one for chat, and a third one that I don't really need, but it helps me keep track of things on Discord since people like to, poke at me on there for some things every now and then
Yeah.
while I'm streaming. So it's just like, yeah,
So
figure it out, get it going, and get comfy.
So if you were going to improve on something, I said you can prove it right now. What would be the thing? What would be the thing you'd want to improve?
Actually reaching out and well, first of all, having ideas for collaborations, and then reaching out for those
Yeah,
instead of just
that
being
is,
like,
yeah. It's a tough road for some folks for many reasons, but you also don't want to make the wrong collaboration.
right. I mean, for me, it's like I'll have an idea for one. I'll come up with it in the middle of the stream, or
Mm.
maybe I'll just be out and about somewhere like, oh, hey, I should reach out to so and so about this. But then, time passes, I get set to a point where it's like, okay, I could write this down. I'm like, what was that idea I had earlier?
Dial tone.
Yup.
Oh well, I mean that happens to the best of us. But I tell you, it sounds like to me things are going real well for you, and you got a good head on your shoulders, and you know what you want to do with it. And I wish you nothing but the best to keep going and enjoying
Hey,
yourself
thank you.
more than anything else. And it's great that you got people coming in and enjoying it with you too.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm happy. I'm having a good time. I'm just doing what I enjoy doing. I'm having fun with it.
we appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.